Hello, and today I will be telling you about a sorting algorithm known as bubble sort. Now, uh, bubble sort is a very basic sorting algorithm. It's not very efficient, but it'll get you where you need to go if you don't have any limits on runtime and stuff like that. Now, you can use this with vectors or arrays, but I'm going to be showing you today with vectors, even though many tutorials on this are on arrays. But I'm just trying to get the idea through of how this algorithm actually works. So okay, so the way bubble sort works is it loops through a set, so that could be an array or a vector, but again it's going to be a vector, and it's going to look at the elements, and then it's going to say if two values, if there's a difference such that uh, if you're trying to go in descending order or ascending order, in this case ascending order, if the value one iteration or one index ahead is greater than the value at the index below it, it's going to swap them. And it just keeps going like that along, and it just swaps to whenever it sees them out of order. So it just keeps swapping and swapping. And that's why it's also inefficient, because there's a much more complex and comprehensive ways to do this, but bubble sort is a good beginner's algorithm, and I thought I'd tell you about it today. So let's jump right into the code. So I'm going to be using C++, just so you know, for this coding example here. So let's start us off with include iostream, of course, and we're going to be including vector because we're using vectors using names. Let's jump right in. So let's start out by initializing the vector. Let's name it collection. Okay. Collection. All right. And then we'll start off with just so we can have the user input the values for the set they want to be sorted. So for this example, I'm going to be doing a set of 10 integers. But of course, this you can write the code yourself a bit differently so that it can take in any number of elements for the collection. So again, this is going to be for 10 integers. So for, let's say, d equals 1, let's set it to 10. So I see this is going to set the bounds for the 10 integers here. So we want to ask the user to enter an integer. Okay. Now here we're going to start a new variable, in which we're going to assign the user's input into, and then it's just we're going to use a special function for vectors that will add the element into the vector, and that's how you can just keep adding values into it. It's called the pushback function, and see here this loop, it's going to do this 10 times and then append 10 integers into the vector that we are going to use as our collection. And we're just going to print something here that's going to tell the user that this is the unsorted collection, just so they can see a comparison of the original set of values that they put in, and then the sorted values that come out after the program does its work. So Okay, so here we're going to have another thing that's going to go through all the values in our collection here, our vector, and then it's going, see here's the scope operator. So we're going through the collection, and then we're going to print out with this command here every value of the collection in the original order, which is the unsorted order. So like I said earlier, for comparison. And now we're gonna jump right into this actual sorting. So let's start another for loop. Let's see, I don't know, j, let's call it j equals 0, j less than or equal collection dot size. Now another function here which gets the size or the length, or also known as the number of elements in our vector here named collection. So here, see, you're starting at 0, and we're going to keep adding 1 every time the loop runs through. It's going to go all the way up to the size, -1. And yeah, so the -1 here, just make sure that we don't go out of range. And then for I, and here's we're going to nest another loop inside this collection dot size, and I'll explain the point of this nesting in just a second. -2, also to make sure that we do not go out of range. Okay, this time we're going to start at the collection size -2, so the number of elements -2, or also known as, you know, the index -2. And then we're going to go all the way down to 0, sorry. Okay. Oops. What did I do here? Okay. Okay, yeah, so I said I was gonna explain what the two loops for. So here, right here, this is the base for the swapping. This is just going to so our original outer loop is going to run through a couple of times to make sure our sorting process, our you know, swapping the two elements happens enough times, just in case, to make sure that all of the elements have a chance to be sorted in the right order. And this will actually run through the elements, and that'll be the base for the swapping, which I will show you in just a minute here. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, so we're taking so this is the, you know, this is the index here, I, and then we're gonna add 1 because we want to go 1 ahead of the index that we're actually looking at, and then compare it right here to collection at index I. So see, we're looking here, if it's actually less than collection I, that's not in order, assuming we're going in ascending order. Or I think, yeah, it's ascending. So now, so here we're going to use another special function, swap. So this is it's going to take two parameters or arguments, collection I, because the ones that are just talking about right here, and then we're going to swap it out with collection of I plus 1. I'm going to put it, so basically what's happening here is it's going to look at this, it's going to take this parameter, collection of I plus 1, so it's going to look in the vector collection at index I, and it's going to swap it, its place, the value at that place is going to be swapped with the value of the index just one ahead of it, because they're out of order, so they're just going to be swapped into their correct orders. Now, this is the basic sorting here. So see how this is gonna iterate through all the elements in the loop. I mean, sorry, not the loop, in the vector, and then it's going to swap them, and then we're gonna have it do that like a few times, or just up to the collection size, and just to make sure that all of it gets sorted, because sometimes it might not get sorted, even if it after it iterates through all the values in the vector. Just a precaution there. And then finally, we're going to move on to our final step, which is printing out our sorted vector called collection. So we're going to say sorted collection. Okay. And here we're going to do that same thing we saw right here. We're going to use the same scope operator for auto. Let's call it C scope operator right here in collection. What? C. So again, that's just going through it and printing out all the individual values as a loop. It's going to use a loop to print out all the individual values in our vector. That's called collection. Yeah, and that's about it. So I can give you, so here's the code again if you want to see. Not that long, I suppose. And then I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration of how it runs, so you can get an idea of that. Okay. So now it's going to prompt us to enter an integer. Just going to enter 10 integers. It's going to ask us this 10 times. Let's see. Uh, 112. So here tells us our unsorted collection, as you can see in the same order that we originally entered them in. And then see, here's our sorted collection. See how I entered 3 twice right here? Right here. And see, it still prints out the 2 3s right here. All in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here and 10 here. So that's it. That's my bubble sort tutorial. I hope you use it well and have lots of success in your programs using this sorting algorithm. And I really thank you for watching this, and please like and subscribe and share this with your friends. Thank you. Bye. See you in my next video.